Hello, welcome back. Today we are doing the first of a new series. This is the political future of Kristi Noem, and I'm going to do an episode of this for everybody. If you guys have a person you want me to do one for, let me know in the comments. But let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to let's look for a little insight into who Kristi Noem is. I think it's really interesting that she ended up on this side of the tableau. I don't think I've ever done a tableau before where the main significator ended up this far over. So that's interesting, and I think it's also relevant because, unfortunately, I think what this is probably implying is that she's got a long road ahead. We're going to be hearing about Kristi Noem for a really long time. But let's get into her personality and what the cards can tell us about her. So right in the center, we have the fox, the ring, the coffin, and the book. She is very much all about self-interest. But I think what's interesting about this is that, to me, this is saying that Kristi Noem is the kind of person who she feels as though she has to be part of something elite and something exclusive in order to have a purpose in life. Now, because this is the heart of her story, I want to point out how insanely hilarious this is, that the heart of her story and the heart of her personality is surrounded by the worst cards in the deck. Okay, 3 of the worst cards right here. So I think that Kristi Noem's mentality will be her ultimate downfall. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's just take it one step at a time here. So let's check out her corner cards. I think Kristi Noem's corner cards are giving us more insight into her personality because we have the sun, we have the mice, we have the bear, and we have the letter. And what I'm getting from this is a very vague sense of she's enjoying the power that she has right now and the bragging rights that she gets from it. So it goes along again with these 4 cards that describe her personality, is she's really enjoying her time in the sun right now. This is a place that she probably never thought she would get to, but was, likely willing to do anything to get there. And I think that's going to come out in a couple of these rows we'll see here in just a second. And I promise right now I won't make any jokes about the dog card, despite the fact that he's in a very compromising situation in the opening of her reading. I won't make any dog jokes, I promise. The first notable thing here that I'd like to point out about Kristi Noem's future in politics, we'll start with her particular line in the spread. So this is something, that she has a lot of emotion invested in, but it is something that did not come easy. It's something that I hate to just say it was a burden, because I think it was a lot more than that. I think that, she may even have a chip on her shoulder to the point that for her, this was a do or die situation. So she was essentially willing to do anything it took to acquire this alliance that she has become a part of now. And she will have stability for as long as she can stay on the good side of the people who have pulled her into the fold. But I think with the snake card here being at the end of her row, and I kind of see this row as a mini summary of her future in politics, someone will betray her at some point. So I believe that's one clue as to what will be the downfall of Kristi Noem. It'll be something to do with betrayal, and it'll be something to do with her allegiance to these shadowy alliances. The next thing that I think is interesting is that the line above her, and because she is located right here, these are the things that are kind of over top of her head. So with the sun card, like I said, she's likely enjoying her time in the sun right now, but it's not without its troubles and, daily problems. So I think she is struggling to assimilate and fit in and prove her loyalty. I think that she's having probably issue after issue, and most likely, with the scythe right next to the clouds, these are not just clouds, cloudy days or bad days, so to speak. Speaking of clouds, I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder outside of my house. It's pretty loud. Sorry about that. This is these are dangerous situations. These are legitimately dangerous situations. Now, to what degree of danger, we don't know. It could be that they are dangerous in terms of her keeping or losing her position, or they could be physically dangerous as, at worst, life-threatening dangerous. But she has these two things right at the center, right above her heart of her story, which is what I mentioned earlier. The two worst cards in the deck, very prominent in her reading, and they're probably going to be pivotal at some point in her career. So now we have a lot of communication with the White House, and I think that a lot of people are probably guiding her because, not to get ahead of myself, but there is a little bit of reference to her being guided by different parts of the administration and people involved. But the funny thing is that behind this guidance or behind this news or these messages that are being brought to her, where people are probably kind of helping her along the way, there is damage being done, most likely intentional, because they know that they can. And this is the kind of damage that it can be repaired, it can be fixed at some point. It's not impossible to repair the damage done, but this is a type of damage that leaves a lot of aftermath. So at this point, Kristi Noem may be in an environment where she does have guidance and people on her side, so to speak, but I don't think that they have good intentions for her. I don't think that they are truly her friend. And I think that, it's all going to come back to this betrayal. The snake is very important here. And she's probably going to find that out a little too late. So now that's her row and the row of things above her. Considering that this row is above her, she may be aware of this, but she may also know that if she wants to keep her job, there's not a whole lot she can do about this issue right now. She kind of just has to go with the flow. And that could explain these two cards and the birds cards, because there's a lot of uncomfortable, unease, not so great feelings hanging above her head here. And she probably knows it, she's probably aware. So now what's below Kristi Noem? This is a really interesting line too. So we start off with her invitation into government. She was invited into this situation. She didn't earn it. She's not qualified to be there, but she was pulled into the fold. And I think she's really enjoying the freedom that it's giving her. It's giving her the ability to travel. This is also a card of commerce, the ship is. So there's a lot of references to financial growth here. And if you look on the opposite side, we mirror those three cards at the beginning of the line. We have the garden, the tree, and the fish, which clearly reference to finances. So she probably is enjoying building and growing wealth, basically. She's also kind of growing in the public eye. She's growing in terms of networking. And she's meeting a lot of people, making a lot of connections. But I think that they're, again, going back to the heart of her reading, these two pros are kind of separated by these two cons. So I think she knows that there is information out there somewhere that, maybe even she could be blackmailed. We don't know. There's probably information out there that could end all of this in a heartbeat. Now, we'll look into why in just a second, but let's go ahead and get this bottom line here. I think with the bear and the clover, we are seeing both prosperity and protection, risk and luck. And with the male significator card here, this could probably just encompass all of the people she's working with and around at this point in time. And so I think there's this sense of they offer, they as in the people she's working with, offer a double-edged sword, So not only is there power and protection, but there's also a lot of risk involved. And the reason I say that is because it's followed immediately by the whip card. And the whip and the crossroad here, kind of separating this entire line, indicates to me that this is not all positive information. So the whip is fighting, arguing, struggling, any type of a negative interaction with the people around you. And so that's kind of what we're seeing here, is that she knows, just like I said up here, she knows that this could end at any time, and she knows that she has to fall in line in order to keep the position of power that she has, and again, grow her finances and build her wealth. So then on this side over here, we have the key, we have the child, and we have the letter. I see this as her really putting in a lot of effort to fit in with these people. She's really kind of like maybe a chameleon. She's someone who probably doesn't care to compromise her morals or her integrity. So she's doing anything and everything she can to build herself up in this community, make herself like a pivotal part of this community, and make herself feel needed, or actually become a needed person. And she's doing it through like really focusing on communication and network. But what's really interesting here, and now we're going to kind of start to branch off into figuring out what the cards are referring to, because I know some of this information so far is a little vague. So the first one I want to point out is this card here with the child card, in regards to what I just said, has a very bad indicator above it. So the tree card's just above, and the tree card is known to suck energy out of the cards below it, and it shades all the cards around it. So the tree card here is not a positive card by any means, because all of the cards that it's touching, it's taking away from, it's diminishing by shading and by removing energy from those cards. So her ability to communicate and build herself up with the people that she's surrounded by, it's never going to be at its full potential. Like that technique or strategy is not going to function at its full potential. Now, this is also reinforced by the fact that the garden is right next to it, which is a good indicator of, lots of people being around you. So I'm kind of getting that there is a sense here that no matter what she does, she's still going to end up with betrayal. She's still going to end up getting thrown under the bus at some point. Probably, maybe because she trusts the wrong person. She drops her anger in the wrong place. She thinks she's stable. She thinks that things are solid and okay, when really there's a snake in the grass. We could likely see Kristi Noem lose her fortune at some point after she spent all this time building herself up, losing her public reputation. Not that it's even good, but you have to understand, from her perspective, to her it's good. To the rest of us, she's Kristi Noem, the dog killer. But I digress. So there's definitely a big problem for her. Now, it's not close to her cards, so it is in the future. It's a little ways off. But because all of these problematic cards for her are very distant from her, she is completely out of control of these problems. There's nothing she can do about any of this, because she's way over here and they're all way over here. So let's make some observations now that we've kind of covered all four of these lines. Let's make some observations about her nearest cards and the things that she is in control of, the things that she is dealing with right now at the moment. And it kind of looks like she is just blinded by the praise, the accolades, the, opportunities she's getting. She's filled with emotion. She's got the sun above her head, so she thinks she's walking on sunshine. Right now, she's very distracted. She is not seeing the bigger picture. She's not thinking at all about what's ahead of her. She may be aware that she's in unsafe territory, but she's not focusing on that right now. What she's mainly focusing on are the loyalists and, her loyal duties to the administration. She does have some burdensome work, so it's very likely that they are giving her work that she's not enjoying. And I'm not saying that she didn't fully enjoy that horrible commercial that she made a while back, because I think we could all tell she did. What I'm saying is that she probably feels like she's getting slotted in terms of the things that she's working on or wants to work on. Maybe there's something that she really wants to do, some horrible thing, of course, and they won't let her do it. Because number one, she's a woman, and we know how the right wing feels about women. I won't go on a soapbox, I promise. I'm going to behave. I'm going to keep this video neat and tidy. So I feel like they're giving her work that she feels like is beneath her, and it's not the work that she wants. And then here we have, a representation of the men and the administration and the people around her. And we kind of already covered this. So that's what she's choosing to focus on right now. So she's really kind of just gaslighting herself, essentially, and living in the moment. But we got to look at her fate line. So let's talk about Kristi Noem's fate line after all of this. I personally believe that Kristi Noem's fate line down here, this is how her time in politics ends. Like, not the actual actions or the sequence of events. This is where she comes out at the end, mentally and emotionally, and, as far as her public reputation. So we literally have the card of reputation right here. I think that she's going to, by the end of her political career, she will be known as weak. She will be known as someone who failed some type of challenge given to her by the people she was loyal to and the people that she worked so hard to assimilate with. They will label her a failure. They will excommunicate her. I don't think that, I don't know. There's really no indication here that I can see of a time frame. So this could be 1 year, could be 10 years, could be 2 weeks. We never know. Things are changing every single day in the Trump administration, the regime, if you will. But I think that at the end of the day, when all is said and done, Kristi Noem will be known as a failure. And it will be because of her own party. It will be because someone sabotaged her and threw her under the bus. And they will label her as someone who was too weak to do her job. There's one more important piece of information here. Well, actually, there's a bunch, but we're going to go over one more important piece, and then we're gonna call it for this video because I don't want it to be too long. At the center of her reading, and I feel like this may be a clue as to how Kristi Noem goes out of politics, how, like, where her ending starts, originates, or, what the cause or purpose is. So there, if you do the diagonal at the center of her reading, we have the dog, the fox, the book, and the key. Now, if we do it from the other direction, we have the horse rider, the ring, the coffin, and the administration. Looking at it from this direction, I think this is a clue as to how her career ends, because I see here her being sabotaged and secret information being released on her. And then when we go this way, news, shadow governments, ending, and once again, the people who are around her. So this X in the center, I feel like that's how she comes to her political career end. Again, with the betrayal, she will very likely be betrayed by the people around her. They will throw her under the bus. There's a big X at the center of this reading that if I were Kristi Noem, I would seriously reconsider what I'm doing with my life right now, just to be completely honest. But this is my prediction for Kristi Noem's political career, her future in politics, and how things will end up for her. And as we saw, doesn't look very good for Kristi Noem. But you know what the old phrase is? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. So I think that this is a very fitting outcome for Kristi Noem. All right, guys, that will do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from me, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all later.